Greetings, Seekers, and welcome once again to the Library of Divine Echoes. I'm your host, Christopher Little, and we're going to explore the esoteric, spiritual, and hermetic mechanics of folk witchcraft. We'll conclude the episode with a guided meditation designed to assist with putting these mechanics into action. Sit back, relax, and let's familiarize ourselves with the loom of the old ways. In the vast, silent library of human experience, there are books written not in ink, but in the twisted roots of ancient trees, the peculiar patterns of a spider's web, and the whispered oral traditions of those who lived on the margins of history. We gather here, in this episode of Library of Divine Echoes, to pull these volumes from the shelf. We are not merely dusting off old superstitions, we are engaging in a rigorous excavation of a spiritual technology that has sustained humanity throughout its darkest winters and most blinding summers. This report serves as a comprehensive guide to folk witchcraft, a tradition that is at once practical, wondrous, and deeply traditional. It is a path that demands dirt under the fingernails and a mind expansive enough to hold the paradoxes of the universe. To understand folk witchcraft is to understand the architecture of the invisible. It is to recognize that the material world is not a dead mechanism, but a living, breathing tapestry of relationships. Whether we look to the New World witchery of North America, the common magic of the British Isles, or the animistic traditions of the global diaspora, we find a shared underlying grammar. It is a grammar of connection, of cause and effect, and of the profound realization that the human will, when aligned with natural forces, can shape reality. This analysis is designed for the seeker who wishes to move beyond the superficial aesthetics of modern occultism and into the operative depths of the craft. We will explore the esoteric mechanics of preordination, the ecstatic liberation of spirit flight, and the grounding reality of dirt sorcery. We will examine how the hermetic principles, often reserved for high ceremonial magic, are secretly the engine driving the simplest folk charms. Our goal is to empower you, the reader and listener, to cultivate a practice that is authentically yours, rooted in the land you stand upon and the blood that beats in your veins. We seek to foster a growth mindset that views every challenge not as a curse, but as raw material for alchemical transformation. While folk witchcraft is often categorized as low magic, the magic of the village healer, the cunning person, or the root doctor, it operates on principles that are undeniably sophisticated. A careful analysis reveals that the effectiveness of folk magic relies on the intuitive application of hermetic laws. These 7 principles, etched into the emerald tablets of legend, provide the structural integrity for everything from a simple healing poultice to the complex navigation of the spirit world. Understanding these principles allows the practitioner to move from rote repetition of spells to true mastery of the art. The principle of mentalism, the universe as mind. The first hermetic principle states that the all is mind, the universe is mental. In the context of folk witchcraft, this is the realization that the witch's internal landscape is inextricably linked to the external world. The black book or grimoire kept by the folk magician is not merely a diary, it is an externalized construct of the witch's will. When a practitioner engages in a ritual to read free a victim of a curse, literally reversing the spoken words that bound them, they are engaging in a mental transmutation. They are rewriting the narrative of reality in the mental plane so that it manifests in the physical. This principle teaches that the true laboratory of the witch is the mind. The growth mindset required for spiritual evolution is, in essence, the application of mentalism. It is the refusal to accept a victim narrative and the determination to reshape one's reality through intent. When a New World witch creates a mojo hand or a nation sack, they are not just stuffing roots into flannel, they are compressing a specific mental intent into a physical battery. The object becomes a focal point for the mind, a tangible anchor for an intangible will. The principle of correspondence, as above, so below. As above, so below, as below, so above. This is the bedrock of sympathetic magic, the most common form of folk sorcery. It explains why a puppet doll constructed from a wax and hair can affect a living human being. The puppet is the microcosm, the human is the macrocosm. By manipulating the small, the witch affects the large. In the herbalism of the folk tradition, this manifests as the doctrine of signatures, the belief that a plant's physical appearance, its signature, reveals its spiritual and medicinal use as a direct application of correspondence. Walnuts, resembling the brain, are used for headaches. Lungwort, with its spotted leaves resembling diseased lungs, is used for respiratory ailments. The folk witch does not need a chemical analysis to understand the world. They read the correspondences written into the fabric of nature by the divine mind. The principle of vibration, the magical pool. The third principle teaches that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Folk traditions in the British Isles speak of magical pool or energetic pool, a reservoir of collective energy raised during festivals, dances, or rituals. The folk witch understands that to change a situation, one must change its vibration. Illness, bad luck, and poverty are seen as specific vibratory states. A cleansing ritual, whether it involves sweeping the floor with a broom infused with salt or bathing in hyssop, is an act of altering vibration. It is the dissonance of the unwanted state being washed away by the resonant frequency of the cleansing agent. This principle also explains the power of the spoken charm or incantation. The voice itself is vibration. By speaking words of power, the witch literally vibrates the air to align with their intent. The principle of polarity, the left and right hands. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Folk witchcraft is uniquely comfortable with this principle. Unlike some modern traditions that enforce a strict harm-none morality, folk traditions acknowledge the necessity of both the right hand, healing or blessing, and the left hand, cursing or binding. This is not a contradiction, but a recognition of the spectrum of power. A witch who can cure a fever must understand the nature of heat to banish it. By extension, they understand how to raise heat. The lady-hearted worker may choose only to heal, but they do so with the full knowledge of the harming potential. Polarity teaches that love and hate are the same emotion at different degrees of intensity. A sweetening jar, used to reconcile lovers, operates on the same scale as a souring jar, used to drive enemies apart. The witch simply slides the energy along the pole of relationship to the desired degree. The principle of rhythm, the tides of power. Everything flows, out and in. Everything has its tides. The folk witch is a master of timing. They observe the calendar of bewitched days and understand that magic performed at the dark of the moon has a different quality than magic performed at the full. This is not superstition. It is an alignment with the rhythmic pendulum swing of the cosmos. In British folk magic, this is seen in the Wheel of the Year and the observance of solar holidays. In North American traditions, it is found in planting by the signs, where the position of the moon in the zodiac dictates when to sow and when to reap. Spiritual growth requires the patience to accept the winter, rest or gestation, as essential to the summer, action and harvest. The principle of cause and effect. Preordination. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. In A.C. Fisher-Aldag's analysis of British folkways, this manifests in the concept of preordination. The esoteric concept suggests that by enacting a ritual that mimics a desired past event or archetypal truth, the which preordains a future result, it is a manipulation of casualty. If a community performs a ritual drama where the green man is killed and resurrected, they are not just acting, they are setting a cause, the ritual life-death cycle, to ensure the effect, the return of spring and harvest. The folk witch does not believe in chance. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. By taking ritual action, the witch steps out of the role of the pawn and into the role of the player, actively participating in the causal chain of the universe. The principle of gender, the generative force. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. This is rarely about biological sex in folk magic, but about the generative energies of projective and receptive forces. The calling circle ritual, used to determine a child's destiny, plays objects of varying genders, knives versus coins, to see which energy the child resonates with. In root work, specific roots like High John are considered masculine, projective and conquering, while others like Queen Elizabeth root are feminine, receptive, controlling. The alchemy of the spell comes from the marriage of these forces. To create abundance, one must marry the receptive vessel, the wallet or jar, with the projective intent, the iron or root. To navigate the complex terrain of folk witchcraft, we turn to the metaphor of the clue of Nicknevin, as elucidated by Roger J. Horne. A clue is a ball of thread, and Nicknevin is the mother of witches in Scottish lore. This clue is composed of three distinct strands: lore, land, and spirit. It is by grasping these three strands that the solitary practitioner weaves their path. The strand of lore, the memory of the blood. Lore is the collective memory of the tradition. It is found in the dusty ballads of the Scottish borders, the jack-tales of Appalachia, and the fragmented grimoires of the Pennsylvania Dutch. Lore is not dogma, it is a repository of what has worked. It is the library of successful experiments conducted by our ancestors. To engage with lore is to study the trappings of the heart, the stories, charms, and incantations that have survived the erosion of time. It involves scavenging texts, not to follow them blindly, but to understand the logic of the ancestors. When a witch reads of black Bibles in Appalachian folklore, they are uncovering a lineage of text-based magic that empowered the illiterate and marginalized. Practical application. The practitioner is encouraged to keep a folk magician's notebook, or commonplace book. This is a living document where bits of lore, family recipes, local legends, and personal observations are recorded. It becomes a personal grimoire, a bridge between the ancient lore and the modern practice. The strand of land, the body of the world. If lore is the map, land is the territory. Folk witchcraft is incapable of existing in a vacuum. It must be rooted in the specific ecology of the practitioner's home. This is the essence of green magic, not a generic appreciation of nature, but a specific, localized relationship with the genius loci, spirit of the place. Rooting into the land involves deep observation. It requires the witch to know the phases of their local moon, the direction of the prevailing winds, and the specific virtues of the weeds growing in their garden. It is the recognition that the land is alive and sentient. Practical application. The dirt under the nails approach suggests that we must literally get our hands dirty. This includes gathering roots, stones, and bones, the physical materia magica of the land. A stone from a local riverbed carries the specific energy of that river. A root dug at midnight from a local crossroads carries the liminal power of that specific intersection. The strand of spirit, the voice of the wind. The third strand is the most elusive, spirit. This refers to the direct revelation and guidance received from the other world. In folk witchcraft, the familiar spirit is not merely a pet, but a teaching spirit, and the most perfect guide along the path. The familiar is the intermediary between the witch and the raw forces of nature. It is the entity that whispers the secrets of herbs and the timing of spells. The relationship is cultivated through the language of spirits, dreams, visions, and the intuitive voice of the wind. Practical application. Meeting the familiar spirit is a central rite of passage. It involves creating a vessel, a spirit house, a bottle, or a stone, and inviting the spirit to take residence. It is a relationship of reciprocity. The witch provides offerings, milk, honey, attention, and the spirit provides guidance and power. Looking at the strands individually to analyze their focus, mechanism, and goals. Lore strand is ancestral wisdom for focus, study of text, tales, and charms for the mechanism, and connection to lineage being the goal. The land strand focuses local ecology. A mechanism is observation, foraging, offerings, and the goal is grounding and material power. The spirit strand's focus is unseen forces. Mechanisms are trance, dream work, familiar spirits. Goal is direct revelation and gnosis. Folk witchcraft is not merely a collection of intellectual exercises, it is an ecstatic tradition. It involves shifting consciousness to access the other world, the realm of spirits, ancestors, and the Sabbat. Spirit flight, the transvection of the soul. One of the most ubiquitous themes in witch lore is spirit flight. While medieval inquisitors viewed this as a literal physical flight on broomsticks, the esoteric view understands it as transvection, the projection of the consciousness, or fetch, spirit body, out of the physical vessel. This practice serves as a gate of initiation. It allows the witch to travel to the Sabbat, commune with spirits at a distance, or perform spectral attacks or healings. The lore provides specific songs of flight and methods for going forth as beasts, suggesting that shape-shifting is a form of spirit flight where the witch assumes the astral form of an animal. Techniques of flight. The unguent. Historical accounts mention flying ointments or witch's grease. While some contained psychotropic solanaceous herbs, belladonna, henbane, modern practitioners often use safe, non-toxic alternatives or rely on the ritual application of the unguent as a trigger for trance. The anointing of the head or pulse points serves as a somatic signal to the body to release the spirit. The steed, the broom, pitchfork, or stalk of ragwort, acts as the vehicle for flight. Esoterically, this is the stang, or world tree axis that the witch climbs to access the upper or lower worlds. Dream flight. A safer and more accessible method involves using the hypnagogic state, the border between wakefulness and sleep, to launch the spirit. By visualizing a specific destination before sleep, the witch trains the astral body to travel. The witch's Sabbat, the congregation of souls. The Sabbat in folk witchcraft is rarely a physical meeting of coven members in a park. It is a spiritual congregation occurring in the other world or on the astral plane. It is a time of feasting, celebration, and instruction. At the Sabbat, the witch meets the old ones, the ancestors of the craft, and the presiding authorities, often described as the man in black, or devil in a non-Christian folkloric sense, and the queen of Elfame. These gatherings align with the tides of the year. solstices, equinoxes, and cross-quarter days, reinforcing the connection to the rhythm of the land. Avataring and aspecting. In British traditions, a related practice is avataring. This occurs during ritual dramas or folk plays where a participant takes on the role of a deity or spirit, for example, the Lord of Misrule or the Merry Lewd Horse. By donning the mask or costume, guising, the practitioner invites the spirit to inhabit their body, becoming an avatar for the duration of the rite. This allows the magical pool of the group to be directed through a living vessel to ensure the fertility of the land or the protection of the community. We now turn our attention to the specific practices of North American folk magic, or New World witchery. This tradition is characterized by its adaptability, blending elements of European folklore, African diasporic traditions, such as hoodoo and root work, and indigenous knowledge into a potent, pragmatic system. This is dirt sorcery, magic that works with the raw materials of life. 1. The Making Your Mark exercise. In the lore of the witch trials, the witch's mark was a physical teat or spot believed to be placed by the devil. In modern practice, making your mark is an empowering act of self-definition and claiming agency. It is a ritual of identifying oneself as a person of power. The ritual process. This exercise involves the creation of a personal sigil or mark that represents the practitioner's magical identity. It is not given by an external entity, but claimed by the witch. Step 1. The practitioner reflects on their magical intent and lineage. Step 2. A symbol is designed. It could be a variation of one's initials, a combination of runes, or a sigil derived from the rose cross method. Step 3. This mark physically inscribed on magical tools, carved into candles, used for spells, or drawn in the dirt at a crossroads to assert presence. It serves as a psychic signature, declaring to the spirit world, I am here and I have power. 2. The Calling Circle, divination of destiny. How does one know their specific path within the craft? The calling circle is a traditional divination ritual used to determine a child's future profession or a witch's specific gift. The ritual process. Step 1. A circle is drawn on the floor or ground. Step 2. Various symbolic objects are placed around the perimeter. In a traditional context, these may include a coin for wealth and banking, a knife for protection, surgery, and soldiering, a book for scholarship and law, and a bottle, healing, pharmacy. Step 3. The subject is placed in the center of the circle, often blindfolded and spun to disorient them. Step 4. The subject reaches out. The first object touch indicates their primary magical aptitude. For the modern witch, this can be adapted to choose between paths: herbs for green witchery, a mirror for divination, a stone for earth magic, or a skull for necromancy. 3. Reading free, the unbinding of curses. Curses and bewitchments are a reality in the worldview of folk magic. Reading free is a specific counter-magic technique used to break these bonds, particularly those laid by spoken charms or black Bibles. The ritual process. This technique relies on the principle of polarity and reversal. The mechanism. If a spell was cast by reading a verse forward, it is broken by reading it backward. Application. The practitioner identifies the source of the bewitchment. Then they recite a psalm, often Psalm 23 or the Lord's Prayer, in reverse order. This sonic reversal creates a backdraft in the magical current, unraveling the knot of the curse. It is a linguistic unbinding, freeing the victim from the web of words. A witch who cannot see the unseen is flying blind. Divination in folk witchcraft is not just about predicting the future, it's about diagnosing the present and communicating with the world. It is the art of reading wonders, signs, and tokens. Augury, the language of the world. The folk witch practices augury, reading the signs presented by nature. This is a constant state of awareness. Birds, the flight of crows, the call of a specific bird at a specific time, is a message, one for sorrow, two for mirth, is not just a rhyme, it is a code. Weather, sudden winds or the way smoke rises from a chimney can foretell spiritual shifts as well as meteorological ones. Body, itching palms, money coming or going, ringing ears, being discussed, or shudders, someone walking over one's grave, are somatic forms of divination where the body acts as the antenna. Technomancy, tools of the trade. Candle wax divination, or ceromancy. This is a staple of dirt sorcery. A candle is burned for a specific intent. The witch observes the flame, tall and strong, success, flickering and weak, opposition, blue flame, spirits present. The wax drippings are interpreted like tea leaves. A clear burn indicates a clear path. A drowning wick indicates overwhelming obstacles. The egg limpia. Adopted from curanderismo, this is a diagnostic tool. A raw egg is rubbed over the client's body to absorb negativity. It is then cracked into a glass of water. The formation of the whites, spikes, webs, bubbles, and the look of the yolk, blood spots or cloudy, reveal the presence of the evil eye, mal de ojo, curses, or spiritual attachments. Folk witchcraft is deeply material. It does not shy away from the physical, it embraces it. The gathering and crafting of supplies is a ritual act in itself. The living arsenal. Roots. In the hoodoo tradition, the root is the spirit. John the Conqueror, root is not just a plant part, it is the embodied spirit of a mighty king. Carrying it provides his strength and mastery. Chewing the root creates a direct pharmacological and spiritual link between the witch and the plant spirit, often used in court cases to sway the judge, a practice known as chewing the root for favor. Bones. Bones connect the witch to the animal spirit. A black cat bone, obtained through a grueling ritual of boiling, this offers invisibility or high power. A raccoon penis, bone, os pines, is a traditional charm for luck in gambling and love. Stones. Naturally hold stones, or hagstones, provide protection and the ability to see through glamours. Lodestones are fed with a magnetic sand to keep them alive and attracting luck or money. Container magic. Mojos and bottles. The mojo hand, or toby, is the quintessential New World talisman. It is a flannel bag containing an odd number of curious ingredients, roots, coins, written petitions, dressed with oil and bodily fluids, sweat, spit, or sexual fluids. It is fed regularly to keep its spirit alive. The witch bottle is a defensive trap, filled with urine, bent pins, nails, and broken glass. It is buried beneath the doorstep. It acts as a decoy. The urine attracts the malevolent spirit or curse, and the sharp objects trap and shred it. We must discuss the ethical framework of this path. Folk witchcraft is often amoral in the sense that it serves the needs of the practitioner rather than an external dogma. However, it operates on a strict law of cause and effect. Preordination is the esoteric principle that allows the witch to preordain the future by manipulating the symbolic past or present. If a witch enacts a ritual where they conquer an enemy, represented by a doll, they have preordained that victory in the physical world. This power comes with responsibility. The lady-hearted worker may choose only to heal, but they must know how to curse to remove a curse. The folk witch cultivates abundance not by hoarding, but by keeping the flow open through offerings and reciprocity with the land. Harmony is achieved not by suppressing the dark self, but by integrating the shadow, understanding that the root must go deep into the dark soil for the branch to reach the sun. To cultivate genuine spiritual growth and abundance through folk witchcraft, 1. Reclaim your lineage. Use the strand of lore to find the magic in your own bloodline or local history. You do not need to be a seventh son. You can claim your power through the Making Your Mark ritual. 2. Root in the land. Practice green observation. Learn the weeds in your driveway. Leave offerings for the local spirits. Use dirt sorcery to ground your practice in the physical reality of your life. 3. Cultivate allies. Seek a familiar spirit or ancestor to guide you. Use the calling circle to identify your strengths. Embrace practicality. Don't just meditate on abundance. Make a mojo hand for it. Don't just hope for protection. Bury a witch bottle. Let your spirituality be as functional as a hammer and as beautiful as a sunrise. Close your eyes. Let the noise of the modern world fade into a distant hum. Feel the weight of your body in the chair or on the floor. You are heavy. You are present. Breathe in deeply, drawing air into the lowest part of your lungs. Breathe out, releasing the static of the day. Visualize yourself standing at a crossroads at twilight. The sky is a deep indigo, speckled with the first stars. The dirt beneath your feet is cool and packed hard by the steps of thousands who walked here before you. To your left, there is a dense, ancient forest. This is the realm of lore. To your right, there is a plowed field, rich and dark. This is the realm of land. Straight ahead, a path winds into the mist. This is the realm of spirit. Turn to the forest. See the trees, their bark inscribed with symbols and stories. Reach out and touch the rough bark of the nearest tree. Feel the pulse of sap beneath your hand. This is the memory of the ancestors. It is the wisdom of the books, the songs, the whispers. Accept their knowledge. Feel it flow into your left hand, traveling up your arm, settling in your heart. Say silently, I honor the law. Turn to the field. Smell the rich scent of damp earth and roots. Kneel down. Dig your fingers into the soil. Feel the grit, the moisture, the dirt under the nails. This is the body of the world. It is the source of all abundance, all healing, all reality. Pull a small stone or root from the earth. Hold it tight. Feel the grounding power flow into your right hand, traveling up your arm, anchoring you. Say silently, I honor the land. Now look to the path of mist. A shape begins to form, a shadow, a flicker of light, an animal, or a figure in a cloak. This is your guide. This is the familiar. Do not be afraid. It waits for you. It holds a lantern that shines with a pale, steady light. This light is the voice of the wind. It is your intuition, your second sight. Feel the light touch your forehead, awakening your inner vision. Say silently, I honor the spirit. Stand tall at the center of the crossroads. You are the weaver. You hold the lore in one hand, the land in the other, and the spirit guides your steps. Feel the clue of Nkneven, the red thread of your life, weaving these strands together. You are whole. You are powerful. You are a creator. Visualize a symbol, a mark of your own making, glowing in the air before you. It burns with a golden fire. This is your mark. Push it out into the world. Let it ripple through the web of reality, preordaining your path of harmony and abundance. Take a deep breath. Smell the dirt, the forest, the mist. Know that you carry this crossroads within you. When you open your eyes, you will see the magic hidden in plain sight.